Okay, and welcome to the TEDSUM online conference. We are very happy to have Essie here, a cybersecurity expert with many, many fun stories. So, Essie, could you please introduce yourself? And also, as I said earlier, your latest book, if you could give a quick summary on what that's about as well.
So my name is FC, aka Freakyclown. I have been a ethical pen tester, ethical for 32 years now professionally. I do a lot of speaking events. I also do a lot of pen testing, and a small part of my job is physical assessments. So most people know me for that because that gets more headlines than writing a report on some network.
Yeah.
I wrote a book last year called How I Rob Banks and Other Such Places. This one here, I just happen to keep on my desk at all times, just in case I need to remind myself what I did in my life. And I am a Brit, but I now live in Las Vegas, which is very handy for places like DEF CON and Black Hat.
I'm just going to open it up. So, Jack, Bodan, Aaron, I know you have lots of questions. So please jump in and ask FC, please.
Yeah, can I
Hi,
can I
go.
start?
Yes, of course, Bodan.
Hi,
Go for it.
hi. See, I am interested. What do you think about yourself like 30 plus years ago? Why did you start all this with cybersecurity hacking? What exactly motivated you? What
Oh,
happened with you?
yeah. So I had a very, very downtrodden childhood. I think a lot of people in cybersecurity probably didn't have the best childhood and best schooled. I was getting into computers when actually my first computer didn't even have a keyboard or mouse. It had toggle switches that you connected to a TV. And then we upgraded to stuff like the Atari 2600. We eventually got a joystick with that. That was nice. And then we went on to the Spectrums and the Commodore 64s
Yay.
and then the Amigas. The internet was burgeoning then. World Wide Web got released. I remember seeing the first like HTML pages and
Yeah.
thinking this is incredible. So I was messing around with computers as like fun, right? And then the hacking scene sort of took off. I started getting involved in like the 2600 groups in London and finding out about stuff like that. I just want to iterate. I never broke any laws. It was a wild, wild west era at that time, but
Yeah.
breaking the law was still breaking the law, right? So I
Yep.
always stayed on that sort of good side. Um, and then I was really, really, really fortunate that a whole industry grew around my interests. Because I think if it hadn't, I would still be tinkering around with computers, right? Even if it wasn't a thing, even if there's only six computers in the world and they were owned by kings, like I would still be messing around with it. Um, so yeah, I've been very fortunate that it turned into a career for me, and to be able to continue that career for 30 odd years. I mean, I'm turning 49 this year. So it's been a huge part of my life and I don't think it'll ever go away.
No, absolutely. I remember with my Atari where I caught my first virus. Yeah, and that was just deleting part of the floppy disk that contained the code that did the reference.
Yeah, yeah,
And it was
yeah.
just like,
So that
bam.
so
Sorry
that
about
would have
that,
been
Al.
an Atari ST, I guess. That would have
Correct.
been.
Yes.
Yeah, so you went Atari ST route, I went Amiga route. So,
I know.
we
Split.
won't bring that up now.
Yeah. Well, I was Commodore
Did
64. Then I went over to the Atari just because
The
the
dark
vast
side,
amount
yeah.
of software that was available for free on that.
did you guys have the cassette recorder hard drive?
Yes. Yeah.
Ah,
Cassette.
nice. I had I
Yeah,
had I had
Trash 80.
cassettes for the Commodore 64, and then a lot of people won't know what this is, but Amstrad came out with the Amstrad CPC 64, which
Yes.
had a built-in tape deck and like colored keys. It's amazing. That was like one of my favorite computers I had for a while.
Oh, cool. Oh, ancient history. But cool. So that was a great question, Bodan. Anything else you'd like to ask?
yeah. I just want to add that I remember Windows 95 then
Ooh, yeah.
98 and very slow speed connection. So I spent all nights with internet to download something, partly with
Yeah, we won't say what that was,
VR.
but yeah.
Yeah, yeah. And my first thing that I will never forget that I didn't pay for my internet at night
Mhm.
because they didn't register it with papers, and I canceled payment. Like no documents, no payment.
Wow.
It was a good experience with internet provider. Also, the last question that I am really interested. Did you see in especially all those, CIS countries, ex-Soviet Union
Mhm.
countries, that activity like more than 20 years ago with phishing, scam, fraud, especially credit cards fraud, because some criminals they contacted me when I was a student, like age Jack now,
Mm.
Mhm.
and they showed me a lot of illegal stuff. They
Okay.
even sent me a gift, like a short code of this ICQ, only 5 digit, short record,
Yeah.
the most expensive. Uh, and I canceled them because I understood that it's too dangerous to work with all this illegal stuff, even remotely.
Mm.
Um, so I'm interested to hear your opinion and from your experience. What did you see and what do you remember about that time, more than 20 years ago, about scammers, especially
Yeah.
credit card scams?
Yeah. I mean, that's as soon as like the internet became a prospect, right, where people were using credit cards, we instantly started to see like credit card fraud happening, and it's still happening today. I don't think it hasn't changed. Most of the attacks in cybersecurity haven't really changed. There's not really new ones anymore. It's just scale
Yeah.
that we see it at. That's the big difference. So yeah, I didn't 20 odd years ago, I wasn't involved in that area at all. Actually, a lot of the focus back then was trying to get a lot of the hack the sort of the hacking knowledge from the US to the UK because we were quite behind. Um, so that's really where my focus was. I didn't really get involved in scams or criminals at that point. I tried to. That's not my area of expertise. I don't really sort of go after those groups.
Yeah.
We did a bit, like I skirted near that when I probably should have mentioned this in my intro for people that don't know. For a while, I was the head of offensive cybersecurity research for Raytheon, so
Oh.
performing like attacks at a
Yeah.
nation state level. And building that capability. So there was a lot of bumping up against the intelligence community. Worked a lot with those guys for all of the Five Eyes.
Yeah.
And as part of that, yeah, there were criminal organized groups that we were dealing with, organized criminal groups. But yeah, I personally, 20 odd years ago, was not involved in even close to that.
Hold
Okay.
on. If you
Yeah,
save your question for our next guest on the next episode, I think he'll have a lot to say.
yeah, that's why I asked it FC, and
Uh,
he will be surprised who will share what
true.
exactly.
Yeah.
I'm just
Well,
gonna
now I've got to come in for the next one.
Statute of
100%.
limitations, that's over, right? No.
Yeah, yeah. So I'm just gonna interject here. So last time we spoke, you spoke on email security with
Mhm.
abnormal.
Yes.
Do you think what is the highest growing attack vector that security doesn't really consider over the next coming years that you're like more people should watch out for this?
Insider threat, right? It's rare. It's
Mm,
incredibly dangerous,
yeah.
but we are starting to uncover more and more nation state attacks that come from insiders, right? Um, Decades ago now, I was working with a company on I'll try and word this nicely. There was a government project we were helping out on, and
Official secret time.
we, we were checking out something, and we noticed some interesting behavior. And I can't name the contractor, but
Oh, good.
yeah, if you look up the meaning of HAL computer from Space Odyssey 2001,
Yeah.
then you'll get an idea. So this company were told by the government, like, don't use you can't contract out to one of these countries because we know that there's a nation state threat from them. So
FC, sorry,
this is
Go for it,
Mhm.
Bodan.
sorry to interrupt, but what is the interesting behavior? I am curious. What is that interesting? Can you explain
Are you
more?
that
Because
boring, Bodan? You don't know what interesting is?
no. It can be different, interesting, you know?
yeah, we noticed some anomalies in how code was being signed off. So therefore there was some interesting code behavior.
Oh,
And so we noticed this and we highlighted this to the people we were working with, and we did an investigation, and we eventually found out that there were three nation state actors in the teams,
oh
and
my
they had
God.
positioned themselves in separate departments so that they could sign off each other's work. And like I say, this is like decades ago.
Yeah.
It turns out that this contractor heard that they can't contract out outside the country. So what they did was they just shipped everyone from that country on that team into that
Yep.
country, and then used them there because then they were on
Yep.
the soil. So yeah, it's something that has been around for a long time, and we are starting to see that more and more. And I think that's something that it's very hard to figure out these sleeper cells that could be embedded for decades.
I
Gotcha.
think
So yeah,
And obviously, the number of AI interviews and
yeah.
people trying to get jobs that they're qualified for, but they're shouldn't be
yeah,
hired.
Well, I mean,
yeah.
I'm just gonna take it one kind of extension further
Please.
on the insider threat piece. The biggest thing is that a lot of, let's say, mental health support within the defense space, it's better than what it was, but you still can't really use it because if you're seen, let's say, walking to the psychiatrist office, well, then other people are going to start to be like, well, can I trust you? And that starts to negatively impact just the psychological performance around just that environment.
Yep.
And that kind of is one of the reasons why insider threats become insider threats. It's because of resentment or money or ideology. Those are the big
Cool.
ones.
Yeah,
As
yeah.
a recovering sexaholic,
So,
I don't think we should be prejudiced against because we go to the psychiatrist. All right, I'm trying to get
Yeah,
help.
it's one of the areas I think the UK intelligence community is very good at. Actually, is doing that. When I was doing a lot of stuff, I went to the therapist a lot. I went to psychologists a lot
Good.
because some of the stuff we were doing, some of the stuff we were seeing, you had to have that, and that wasn't like it wasn't forced upon you, but like they really, really recommended you went to it and saw them. And so, yeah, I think from that side, it was really, really good. Maybe on the commercial side, that's not a good thing, but you can do it in your own time. You don't
could
have
lose
to.
your-
And the
Go ahead.
sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, it's on the commercial side, I think you can do it in your own time. I do recommend seeing therapists for anyone in cybersecurity because it's a tough area. It's a tough sector to be in all the time because you take a couple of days off, you're already a week behind, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah.
everyone wants to do as much as they can all the time. They see, social media has played a big part in this. Everyone thinks that they need to be hacking 24/7 and keeping up with stuff. And just get out, touch some grass,
Yeah.
go out and find something that is not computer related to do. That inspires you, that helps you out mentally.
Exactly, exactly. Because it's the same threats. It's just scale, as you said.
Yeah, yeah,
You're not gonna you're not gonna solve all the problems in one business day. At least I can't. I don't know
yeah,
about the rest of you guys,
yeah.
but I
I
can't.
mean, I've been trying to put myself out of a job for the last 30 years. We haven't solved cybersecurity. We're not going to. It's
Ah,
going to still be there
yeah,
when I retire eventually. So yeah, it, you're not going to fix everything like you say.
yeah,
I
correct.
was doing a presentation a while ago and I came out and I said, cybersecurity is broken. Doing the same thing for 40 years. It doesn't work. We keep doing it. It's
Yep.
broken. We got to fix
Yeah.
it because
Yeah.
we
Well,
do.
yeah, try and tell everyone that, it goes to infosec or black hat
Yeah.
or any of
I
the
have, I,
vendors that are just like, oh, here's the new sneak, or that's going to fix everything. It's a blinky box. You just have to put it in. Cost you 10 million quid.
excuse
Yeah,
me,
it's not going to
I have
work.
one, I'm sure, good question. What is the most popular questions when you speak at the conferences to
Hmm.
you? And if you set priority of those questions for this year, 2025, which one you remember most of all and why? What was
Uh,
the
I,
best?
I think the most asked question beyond how do I get into your job? How do I do your job? Can I have your job? Can I join your company and do your job? They're the main ones. Beyond that, it's stuff like, is AI a threat? Is AI coming to replace my job? Uh, is cybersecurity going to be saved? Is everyone going to lose their job from that? Like that's everyone's been really questioning about AI this year. I think that's the biggest
Yeah,
area. I think I see questions.
Yeah, yeah, thank
Which
you for this. And now finally we have ransomware based on AI,
Hmm.
right?
yeah,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, you're gonna get that. This is a really interesting topic, right? So a lot of people ask about this, like, is AI going to make criminals better and so on? No, again, it's just going to help them scale, right? We're not seeing all of these massive AI powered hacks that are happening because the honest answer is criminals don't need to be that smart yet,
Yep.
right? They can still be quite dumb. You don't need AI to phishing email,
yeah,
right? I mean, maybe you do if it's not your first language that you're trying to attack, but beyond that, you don't need all of this infrastructure being stood up. Like I've done demonstrations of this of how you get AI to do all the OSINT on a company, pull out people. In fact, Jack saw some of this
Yep.
in Melbourne. It's like you can do it, um, but you don't need to, right? You
yeah,
don't
Yeah.
need to be that sophisticated. And that I think is where the dissonance is there.
I think it's great because a lot of people, a lot of criminals are like, oh, I can do this. I'll just have the AI write the code and it won't work.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
God bless them. Makes them easier.
I mean,
Yeah, exactly.
I feel like on the flip side, a lot of companies don't care about security. So, just a little bit of a side
Yeah.
tangent. I was doing a bug bounty on a famous British sports car brand. I won't name any names. And they allow pairing with the key fob to the mobile app. Well, the mobile app sent all of it via HTTP, not even HTTPS. The Stripe API wasn't even authenticated, so anybody can just log in and, great. And
Nice.
they used Shenzhen Party Limited. And like, that is definitely not a BT group. And I contacted them, head of legal, the British Data and Information Office, and I'm like, hey guys, like, can you take this into account? And I give them 4 months, and they're like, oh, we're gonna sue you because you were touching our app. And I'm like, but I touched the client facing stuff that I control, not
yeah.
anything you guys, which is
S-
fine.
Sorry, Jack,
Yeah, go, please, 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 please.
clarify one short clarification. You contacted Shenzhen office, right?
I contacted the office based in the UK.
Okay, okay,
Yes.
good. Thank you.
So effectively, they're like, hey, this isn't cool. And then I ended up submitting the CVEs to MITRE.
Yeah.
And even MITRE didn't hear anything back for 4 months. and just awarded me them. So I feel like
Okay.
the biggest issue is a lot of companies, especially within the automotive, the telco space, they don't really care that much about security because it's a cost center, and there's no way of
Yes.
fixing that paradigm without re-engineering the whole thing, both on a
Mm.
psychological standpoint, but also, like FC said, you really can't fix the attacks because we're doing the same thing over and over and over again. And that's kind of the same with
Mm.
me. And I know all of you have had this experience as well. I mean, is there anything that
Love,
we can do?
Yeah,
I love, I love getting sued.
I just want to say to Jack that I saw similar case in Malta recently, maybe even last year, 2024, that one of my contact was like arrested during his pen testing, and the reason it was because of paperwork. They didn't
Oh,
clarify all documents, and this is very popular. So
Mm.
if you don't have all necessary documents, you cannot approve, they can arrest you immediately because you are not allowed to do that pen testing.
gotcha.
I think FC
They can arrest
can
you with proper
share.
paperwork.
Yeah, they can arrest you for anything. Yeah, this is something I covered. I actually did a small introduction to pen testing, like red teaming course. I can't remember where it was. Maybe Udemy. I can't remember. Where I go into the importance of paperwork and getting everything clarified because I think people come into this going, "Oh, great! I've got a letter. We've got a
Get out of
contract,
jail free
and I can
card.
go and do anything." Yeah, and it's not like you have to have it watertight. Yeah, if you break something, you have to
Yeah.
realize that it's going to have an impact. Like one of the biggest things I think I see new people doing is they're like, okay, I'm going to simulate a criminal and I'm going to smash a window, or I'm going to like lock pick a door and get in through that door. Well, if that's not in your contract that you're allowed to do that, you are criminally liable.
Gotcha.
And also, like another thing I really want to enforce on people is you're there to help the client, right? If you smash a window to get in to somewhere, say it is in your contract, right? You're allowed to break stuff. You smash a window, you go in, you do your thing. When you leave, you have to secure that window.
Yeah.
You can't just leave an open window there because an actual criminal may come along and use that. And a lot of people don't understand that. They're like, oh, okay, I'll just do whatever I want because I'm legally a criminal now.
Yeah.
It doesn't work like that.
Yeah, I want to add here that I saw now very popular um, SIM swapping as a service in Telegram. They are selling this service that they can do the SIM swap with any phone number almost in any country with any mobile operator just for $1,000. It's so cheap that I'm not only shocked or confused, I have no words how it's dangerous to use your phone number, your SIM card, to receive OTP from your bank account. And
Yeah,
almost everyone that I know, they use the same phone numbers, the same SIM card for communication and for their payments for
Security. Yeah.
financial
Yeah.
services.
yeah.
So
And their WhatsApp and their Signal and
everywhere.
their everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's why you should have a work phone and a finance phone and a. I mean, I'm sitting here now and I've got two iPhones on my desk. They do different things.
Yeah.
So,
That's a good
it's
point.
Are they SIMs or are they physical cards?
Go again.
these are eSIMs.
Okay.
One of them has to have an eSIM for the UK.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah, it's because we've got Melbourne, Vegas, New
Yeah.
York, Ukraine. So
Yes.
Yeah.
we've
I
got
mean, we're
several.
covering the globe here. It's
Oh
pretty
yeah,
impressive.
100%, right? Yeah.
My
absolutely.
bunker.
So occasionally it goes a little bit unstable, but we're stable now. Cool.
Yeah.
So no, this is a really interesting discussion. So from your perspective, it's the inside threats that are the issue, where it's nation state
Yeah.
compromising. Now, is it employees or is it, as you said, sleeper cells?
It's both, right? And
Okay.
we're actually starting to see a really interesting thing I saw in the news the other day was there is now organized crime groups that are paying people to install a box in their house so that they can use their internet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they pay like I think it's like $250 a month or something, and will use no questions asked. And people are doing it.
There they are.
That's scary.
Yeah.
That is scary.
Oh
What
yeah.
are
Yeah.
having the good old days? You just
Yeah,
download a
breaking
Trojan
in.
and
Yeah,
Oh my God.
that's it.
Uh, uh,
Like I say, like why be that sophisticated? Why code all that and do that when you can be like, hey, we'll pay you some money and yeah,
wasn't there a woman?
you do it
Wasn't
yourself.
there a woman in Arizona, I want to say, that was just recently arrested for having
20
7 or 8,
plus laptops. Yeah,
20.
yeah,
Okay.
Yeah.
20
20
plus
plus
laptops.
laptops. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, look around my room, I've got more than that. Jeez.
Yours
You're
probably
a
aren't
rich
connected where
person.
hers were.
Uh, about hardware, I
Mhm.
mentioned previously on Alan podcasts for different countries, like United Kingdom, they arrested Chinese driving
Yep.
Toyota in London with
Mhm.
SMS blaster, with this
Yep.
physical device inside the car,
Mhm.
sending random SMSs, phishing SMSs. So now I saw in August they arrested 3 people, kind of tourists in Vietnam, driving
Mhm.
cars and sending SMS phishing from Vietnamese National Bank and Post. So
Oh.
it's only growing.
Yep.
Not even every month, every week, this
Yes.
phishing and all those attacks growing.
Yep.
Do you
Because
Yeah.
it's
think that's
successful.
more, do you think that's more a nation state thing, or do you think that's more just a organized crime criminal?
That's organized crime.
Yeah.
That's the lower of barrier of entry because the machines there that what you need is now cheaper and it's easier to obtain. 10, 15 years ago, yeah, that was nation state doing that. Now it's easier just to do that another way.
Yeah.
But yeah, what you're seeing there, that sort of actually, it's kind of like reverse war driving, right? It's
Yeah.
just like you're sending out rather than receiving.
Yeah.
That sort of reverse war driving, I think, is yeah, all we've seen is criminals doing that.
Cool.
There's been a lot of that kind of activity, I'll say, in the US. I, I've noticed over, let's say, the last 6 to 9 months where everyone's getting a text, the DMV is going to cancel your driver license or your Easy Pass toll has been blah, blah, blah. And,
Yes.
but it's
Absolutely.
been much, much more noticeable and it's more, I thought it was just me for a while, but everybody gets them and
Yes.
people are making
Yeah,
jokes about them and stuff like that. And it's just becoming more and more of an issue.
Yep.
Yeah.
yeah.
Every day you're getting
Now
basically.
they stop production of Jaguar and Land Rover.
Yes.
Really?
Mm.
Yes.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they destroy the system,
Mm.
critical infrastructure.
Must have
Well,
missed that. Wow.
if Land Rover or Jaguar, you care about them, you know. But they also went
That's a good
through
question.
sort of an unfortunate rebranding. So this sort of
Yeah,
yeah, and
Oh,
it
Yeah.
wasn't the plan
yeah.
to
Yeah.
basically
yeah,
restart production at some point.
yeah.
True.
I mean, I'm not saying it's a distraction or it's like, oh no, we'll blame like
Yeah.
criminals for stopping all of this.
Well, there's
Definitely.
must be insurance they could buy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
True. True.
probably.
Like that's actually a very interesting point on the just the SMS attacks. And that's actually one of the upcoming kind of talks at a lot of security conferences in Australia is more so on the mobile aspect. And I feel like not enough people are really taking into account the just massive damages and drive-by download attacks that are happening on these sites. Because I remember back in like 2016 when there was like Club Penguin, Wizard 101,
Yes.
and you would like go on those sites and they would be like, oh no, you're now hijacked. And I remember I was at school one day and I was playing Clash of Clans, and there was like a bunch of like gem generator, like free type thing,
Yes,
and I'm like,
yes, yes.
oh, I'll put in my like account details. So anyway,
Absolutely.
download some Iranian-backed malware the next day because it was logic bombed,
Hmm.
ransomed the entire school's internet at like 10 o'clock at night. All I hear is AFP search warrant. And they just bust down my
Oh,
door. And I'm like, don't shoot American. And they were like, what? And these two detectives sit me down and they're like, Jack, mind you, I was like 14 at the time. They're like, do you have links to Al Qaeda? And I'm like,
Yes.
in this economy, you got to keep your options open.
There you go.
And just like just the ease of use within a lot of attack factors, it's really scary.
Yeah.
Like Windows is a joke. There's a lot more, let's say, Mac-based malware now.
Yes.
mhm.
But mobile, even iOS, like there's literally a fund to combat mercenary spyware. That is terrifying.
Yeah. I agree.
Most traffic on websites now is mobile. It's not
Yeah.
Yep.
land-based anymore.
Really?
Yeah, oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Damn.
Yeah. What's
Yep.
what's more terrifying is that Jack was at school when Clash of Clans came out. Like,
I was gonna say, in America, if you had said that to the police, you would have a broken jaw and be in Kansas for a long time. You could think it, just don't say it.
It's Australia. It's different rules.
There you go.
Oh no, no. I had Cyber Command, I had counterterrorism, I had a bunch of
Wow.
like
Oh.
people come and talk to me. And it was quite fun because then they went to my friend's house,
Hmm.
which was
Oh.
like super popular kid, like multimillionaire family and stuff. Guess what happened the next day? Everyone in school was like, my God, Jack is now a part of ISIS. And I'm like, oh, Jesus Christ. So 2 days later, the bomb squad comes and they're like, sweet, searching all the
Yeah.
trash cans and stuff because someone called in a bomb threat.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm like, man, kids can be so cool. Like, forget cybercrime. Like,
Yep.
they're the
Yeah.
ultimate attackers.
No, absolutely. So we're coming up on
Please,
time. So what
Yes,
I'd
sir.
ask is one more question from everyone, and then we'll draw it to a close. Okay?
I get this question, so I like to ask other people this question because I like to hear their answers. But a lot of people that want to get into cybersecurity, or let's just say for the argument's sake, since you are known for physical pen testing, they ask, what should I do? How can I get in? What would you advise either students or people making a career transition or people looking at even maybe, hey, you know what, I've been doing red teaming for a while and I want to switch or something like that. Someone
Yeah.
that wants to get into it
Okay.
for the first time, what kind of advice would you give them and what would you make sure to tell them?
Yeah. My first piece of advice is learn the law of where you're going to practice,
Yeah.
right? It's going to change from state to state if you're in the US, from country to country. Can you even do stuff like carry lockpicks,
Yep.
right? Can you carry tools like that? Do not go and practice anywhere you do not have permission, because that is going to lead to prison.
Yeah.
The next thing is to understand not just the ethics of what you're doing, but understand the morals of what you're doing. So a quick example of that is, right, legally, you're not allowed to represent yourself as an emergency service, right? You cannot say, I am a policeman, because you're going to get in anyway, but that can cause duress. Same for fire departments, etc. Um, if you if you think about it, right, a criminal can do a lot more stuff than a red teamer or pen tester or whatever, right? Because they don't care about the law.
Yeah.
As a physical tester, you have to understand where that line is, because if you go into a building and you pull the fire alarm, great, right? You're going to cause a massive distraction, but you're going to have harmful effects on the business, which is
Yeah.
what you're trying to minimize.
Yeah.
You can also be liable for, say there's a pregnant lady on the fourth floor who doesn't use the elevators because it's a fire,
Yep.
comes down the stairs, trips, loses a baby because you pulled a fire alarm because you thought you were being cool.
Yeah.
So understand that sort of moral compass that you have to have doing that. And then the way to get into the work is probably start as a pen tester. Get a job with a company that does pen testing and physical. Build up your skills. Go along with other people that are doing those physical tests, and then see if you like it. I've had people in the past who have harassed me to come on to physical pen tests with me as part of the company, and the odd couple of people that have come along absolutely hate it, right? Because it is incredibly stressful. You are going to do a lot of running, so you have to be physically fit. You also have to be very not scared of a lot of stuff, right? Because the number of times I've found myself in pitch black tunnels underneath a building, in just honestly, I've got some photos in the book of this really sketchy place. Like you go to a lot of sketchy places to get into places, right? So you have to be aware that that's going to be a thing. You get muddy, you get dirty, you get cut. Like climbing over razor wire is no joke, right? Sitting in a ditch for 5 hours watching a door is no joke. Like it is a brutally horrible environment going into. It is not just carry a clipboard and a high vis jacket. Not some. I mean, sometimes it is, but most of the places I break into, they're a little bit more physically demanding like that. So yeah, get a job with a pen test firm that are doing physical assessments. But at Sygenta, we are not hiring anyone, so please keep it easy to yourself.
Damn.
Thank
Sorry.
you.
I want to ask a question.
Yeah, sure.
When is it possible to see you as a speaker? Which country, which conference? This or next year? And just mention which year you will share your next book. I'm sure you have some ideas, and you work. You don't need to share a name, but I
Yeah.
guess what it will be about. But just tell us next year, 2, 3
Yeah.
years. How long
Yeah.
to expect?
About a
So,
princess and a castle.
yeah, exactly. So where I'm speaking next, so I no longer do RFPs for conferences, right? I only speak at places that pay me to be a speaker now. I've just signed another 10-city deal with Abnormal. We'll be going around I believe, North America we're doing this time, for 10 cities. So keep an eye out for that. You can register like Jack did. You can just register and come along, see me, watch the demos, get a free meal. It's quite nice. So that's probably my next set. Everything else I think is private client work. As for my next book, I've got a couple of things I'm working in the background on a potential next book, which is, if that comes off, that is going to be a really massive thing. So that's going to be cool. So yeah,
Cool.
that's loads of information without telling you anything.
Understood.
you.
Excellent. Okay, so we're up on time, I'm afraid, but this has been excellent,
I lost
FC. So we're just glad.
Yes,
we
I've
were
got all four
finally-
of you in the same place.
We're just glad we finally had you on the podcast. So again,
Yeah.
thank you so much.
No,
Thank
thank
you.
you for having me. It's been
Thank
an
you.
absolute pleasure. It really has.